Hello, 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 and welcome to Survivor Debrief. My name's Eden Porter, the unlucky loser from Survivor Titans vs. Rebels. With me, as always, is my comedic partner and real-life brother, Josh Porter. Josh, how you going?
Good. It's good. I'm really loving this massive amount of people here, all going to Tribal, all being together. It's also exciting to really now we're all together. Now it doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter where you're moving. You're set, you're settled, you've got your people, find your people. So I'm happy about that.
It's the merge. The game starts now. This ain't no blood moon anymore. The moon is
it's
passed.
It's set.
It's
waning.
Is it waning
It's
or
waning.
is it waxing?
Yeah.
Is it a gibbon at all? I don't know. Is it a waning gibbon? I don't know. It's something. One of our moon listeners can
One of our
back.
moon listeners.
There's plenty of moon listeners. There's plenty of moon listeners, Josh. Don't you worry about that. They'll come out of the woodwork now. They'll come for you, mate. Yeah. With the Artemis 2 going around, they're on cloud 9.
Yeah, cloud 9.
Moon 9. Yeah. A couple of points of order, some things that came out between last episode and now I just want to touch on quickly.
Yep.
One is our listeners may not have heard. Colby going home was devastated. We were both very devastated. But apparently his infection, it wasn't just a pulled thing. He had like an infection in his foot and it was getting worse. And basically there was a feeling in a lot of his exits that he was going to get pulled. He was going to get, they were checking him every day and they were going to medevac him anyway. So
that makes me feel better.
A boy Colby, it feels a little bit better. Still devastated he's gone. The season does feel a little different that he's not here. It is
really funny because I do a little cast photo just to track everyone. And as I was getting rid of Genevieve, Camilla and Colby, I was like, oh yeah, they're just like, after you watch the episode, like tonight, it was just vanished from my brain that they were in the game to me. It's just like you move on so quickly.
It's shocking. So it was that. Second of all was Savannah. I know in a couple of episodes we've talked about how they've all got massive coats on.
We, Eden?
I've mentioned it several times.
You're obsessed with the coats.
Well, it's odd.
Why they all got coats?
The history of Survivor is everyone is cold and you're in your thing. Camilla was in a full hoodie that she had pulled up to couldn't even see her. And apparently it came out that Savannah had mentioned that there were changes to the HR policy and you can't huddle together like for warmth anymore at night.
I see.
So because of dodgy stuff or things that have happened and they just said, you know what, everyone can bring an extra like a coat for nighttime so you can keep warm.
Seems
okay,
nice.
That's fine. That's a change to the game. Now we know, Josh. And then last of all, Coach had a great quote, a great historical quote last week about going to war with a pure and free heart.
Yes.
Did some fact checking on that. Can't find it.
Can't find it anywhere on the internet.
Can't find it anywhere. So Coach,
maybe the Oakwood monk.
Stuff.
Maybe there's some order, some order somewhere of some monks. Maybe they're not online either. They're on the internet.
They're not online. They're not online. They're not online. That's true. But let's get into the episode proper. So the biggest blowback, of course, was Tiff. Yep. She was pissed. Like someone not getting Arby's when they really wanted it. She was super angry. I sort of liked her. Like, I just need a moment to like
feel my feelings. Yeah, I really like that. To me, that feels
genuine.
Like and also like a sort of marrying of new school and old school Survivor of like quite real and raw emotions. It's not just a game. I'm very upset, but I know this is a game and I do need to control this. But I'm just gonna feel my feelings. I'll come back to you tomorrow. Like I really like that thing of like you can understand people get pissed off about this stuff, but they know that they can't react. So it was like that middle ground of not super game bot being like, no, I'm fine. Oh, you got me, guys. You got me good. It's a sort of a twist on that sort of version of like, I am upset. Give me some time.
Give me some time. Now, the thing that I thought was a little bit of a double standard was the fact that Jonathan got blindsided on the Charlie vote. He didn't know that was happening. Camilla kept that from him. It was Camilla. Who was it? Camilla D, Rizzo, and Sari all voted, and Devons, Jonathan, and Charlie didn't know.
Yes.
So Jonathan feels like, hey, we had a sort of a good thing going, and you guys blindsided me. So it does like beggars belief that Tiff comes back with he's scorched earth, he's dead to us, he lied, like this is terrible, he lied to us all day when they'd just done that to him previously.
It's always weird when that happens. Like, and it's pretty one-to-one. It's like, yeah, you lied to their face because you're blindsiding an ally of them. Like that's part and parcel of this stuff. So it is always surprising, especially when maybe it's just that feeling of when you get someone you think it's just going to carry on and then suddenly it doesn't and now you're on the back foot. Because it's not even like that step. And now after what we've seen, like that decision to get rid of Charlie in that moment and go against those guys, like that's really paying massive, massive debt to them now. Like
Hugely.
really normally a move like that of like, yeah, we'll do this great blindside. It'll put us in a really good position to move forward and go ahead. And it's just not done that at all.
No. And the other thing the other bit of blowback was, of course, Aubrey forgetting to play her idol, which I did not get this at all. Devons and Christian genuinely upset with her. You said you were going to play it. You didn't play it.
It goes so fast, Ed. It goes so fast.
It just goes so fast. But first of all, why does she have to play her idol if she doesn't need to? Why is she indebted to them to play her idol? I don't get that attitude.
I just think it speaks to them not being very close allies, because I think if you were a close ally, it would be like, oh, actually, we've still got the idol.
Correct.
Like, but it just doesn't feel that way. And I think it is more testament to how on the outs Aubrey is still. And she has, like, I know Coach is sort of pulling her in a bit, but it really feels like that is demonstrating that, no, we're not a close ally of yours. We just wanted you for that vote. We had to work with you on that vote.
An ally would never be asking you to burn an ally. They would just never an idol. They would never do that. And so it must be a huge warning to Aubrey of like, you know what? These guys are not with me. They're acting like, oh, I lied to them and I should have played it. She played them. She realized in tribal council, she's Jen's not safe. That means she doesn't have a vote. That means she hasn't put a vote on me. That means I don't think there's a vote going on me, so I don't need to play my idol. She just figured that out in the game. And why doesn't she say that instead of saying, oh, sorry guys, I forgot?
Yeah, it was a strange in the moment lie to make. And I don't I think it's understandable, and I'd like to know your opinion on this. We may as well talk about this now. That sense of what she was saying when she played at the end of the episode of it's like an album. Everyone knows about it. It's worthless now. It's just putting a bigger target on me. But we've seen people like even Rizzo, for example, who've had it like literally the season before, and it carried him through the game, and he used it as a really powerful thing. And so I was
thinking exactly that. It's like, Aubrey, you know they're not voting for you now. Don't play it now. Keep it. If you know these people are already coming for you, they're already asking you to burn it. Don't burn it. Just keep annoying them.
And do you think she gets the value she thinks she does by not having it anymore? Do people go, great, she's not a threat anymore, she doesn't have the idol, let's move on to someone else? Is that how this plays out?
That's what she thinks?
Yeah.
That's what she thinks. But I'm coming at it from the point of view of they already don't trust you. They want you not to have an idol. So therefore, they're not really with you anyway. So why would you listen to what they want?
Yeah. But
why would you care?
I guess she just must feel safer now, which is weird. It seems weird to say this, but she must feel safer now that she doesn't have the idol.
Doesn't have an idol. Yeah. It is weird. It is weird, but no, fair enough.
The other thing I found really interesting in the fallout was Coach and Jonathan having that chat, and Coach just really flicking this switch,
just going all crazy.
Do you want to go to? Yeah. Do you want to go to war? We're going to war. Like really laying that out really clearly. And I wonder if this is symptomatic of we're at a massive merge here. Like there's a lot of people here, and all this rallying the troops, a bit of a theme of this episode. What did you make of Coach's sort of seemed like a 180?
I think they were going to vote out Coach. Coach realized that Dee was going to vote him out. And then the Colby thing, obviously with his injury and all that sort of stuff, sort of took precedent, and Colby ended up going home. But it was a wake-up call to Coach of like, these people you would have been going home then.
Yeah.
And so for him, he just went, well, I need to do something now. I need to take control of this game. And he pushed really hard. And we see this amazing fight between Dee, Jonathan, and Coach.
That was
we have not seen fights like that.
And what was great about it is getting Jonathan's confessional after, where he's like, I know how feisty Dee can be. I'm going to needle her and nudge her to have this explosion, which is like, that is old school Survivor to me, right? Like,
that is, it's like beautiful, poking them.
Yeah, it's a beautiful combination of what might normally have happened in old school Survivor of these personality clashes. It's like now you've got someone who knows that and can work that angle and bring it out of them. But it did seem really genuine on both of their behalves. But again, like the craziest thing about this is this obsession with you lied to me about this. It's like, I don't understand. Like, you can't get through a season of Survivor without doing that. It's just impossible.
You have to vote. You have to vote people off without telling them you're voting them off.
Exactly. So I don't understand. Like, to me, it's just a pointless thing to say, oh, well, you lied to me about this. It's like, everyone's going to be lying the whole time, but it's almost like this weird unspoken thing that you kind of can't say that out loud like, everyone lies. Like, it's weird.
And Emily actually nails Coach. She's just like, the hypocrisy is out of control when you go, okay, you lied to me, you're the baddie, but I'm allowed to lie to you because I'm playing with integrity and honor. So I'm righteous in myself. Because he literally says to the group, I'm just letting you know because we're on the jury now. If anyone plays the game lying and cheating and stuff, they're not getting my vote and they're not going to win. And everyone's just like, mate, what are you like? Get off. I don't like that. I don't like when you're trying
and it
to do
seems
that.
like I think that attitude, particularly in 50, like I feel like you can get a Joe, you can maybe, it sounds like you can get a bit of a Jonathan, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It sounds like you could get a bit of a Colby, but like I'm like, there's a lot of other people in this game that aren't going to play that way.
I actually think, like Joe aside, people like Jonathan, I think, is playing into that.
Yeah.
In much the same way that in South Pacific, everyone played into the coaches, like the cult of coach, where he leaned into religion and stuff like that. And people like Soph out there was just like, yeah, look, I'm just going to play into this because this is where the narrative's going, and I'm going to be part of that. I feel like some of these guys know that honor and integrity is not the way to do it, like Chrissy and Jonathan, even Steph, but they're playing into it because they're like, this is what people want to hear, and I'm going to be on this side, and I think this will help me in my game. But none of them really believe that, except for maybe Coach.
Yeah, it's just a really strange attitude to be coming in with. And then, you know, he's talking about, now I'm the Dragon Slayer's here and I'm back, baby, like all this kind of stuff. It's just a weird spot for him to be, you know.
And then he tries to pull in Rizzo, and Rizzo generally is excited to play with Coach. And then he goes, "You're now replacing Colby." And Rizzo's sort of like, "What? I'm not good enough to beat it." And so Rizzo sees Coach for what he is, which is very interesting. Now there's another little mini alliance here that we have to talk about. That's Suri, Rizzo, and Oz. So they call it Suri's Rizzo of Oz, which I like, which I think is really good. Seems like they're locked in. They've just shared information with each other. They're keeping it tight. Like, it's good.
It's really interesting. It seems like a really, really tight. I'm almost a little bit surprised that Aussie's sort of in the mix with this, but I think those early conversations with Suri seems to have really locked in. I think a key thing keeping them together is they've got a lot of tools in this game. They've got two Billy Idols and an extra vote. So they have got a massive amount of power to wield. The interesting thing here was, what I really, really enjoyed seeing was there was that scene where Suri and Rizzo were like chatting on the hammock, sharing information about stuff. And Rizzo's like, "Hey, Dee told Emily that I had an idol. What do you reckon?" And it was like this cool moment of like teasing. And you've talked about this a lot, of finding that person you can talk through your game, talk through stuff. And it feels like a really great moment, particularly for like someone like, as a super fan like Rizzo, doing it with Suri, being like, "Hey, this is what's happened. What do you reckon? Let's talk through this. You know, can Dee be trusted anymore?"
Rizzo says at Tribal Council later on, he literally says, he goes, "I can't believe this. 4 months ago, I was watching this show."
Yeah,
and now he's just done a full season all the way to the end, and now he's in the mix of 50 with these legends, and it's just like, for a huge fan, mind must be blown. But he's holding his own. He's doing doing very well.
This episode, I'm very impressed with. I think he's got through that initial. We sort of discussed it compared to Savannah. Got through that initial burst, got some really, really strong allies, and I think his game sense is really strong. And I think being this, like, he's seen the evolution of the show over the years, so he's got a really good track on a lot of these people, how they like to play potentially. But I've been really impressed with him in this episode in terms of positioning himself, understand the dynamics of the group, who you should be talking to, who you shouldn't, what you should be saying, all those kind of things. And we even saw him having that chat with Coach as well, which is quite funny. Talking him off the ledge.
Dude. That Rizzo coaching Coach was so good. That was awesome. And he's literally just said, "No, we battle it. We don't battle on the beach.
Yeah, we slay at tribal.
We slay tribal.
Not
we don't do it here." All this sort of stuff that Coach he goes, "Yes, you're right. You're right. He just absorbs it all. But Dee we have Rizzo on one end doing all the right things, and we have Dee making these mistakes. And she literally says, she goes, "Oh, I feel like I've made a mistake that can cost me my game."
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. It's as simple as telling the wrong people things and trying to lock people in. So Dee told Jonathan, Tiff, and Emily about Rizzo's idol.
Yes.
And then Emily goes back to Rizzo and says, "Oh, yeah, because you have an idol." And then Rizzo asks the very key question, "Who'd you hear that from?" And Emily just instantly goes, "Oh, Dee."
Yeah.
Like, doesn't try to pretend or hide it or anything like that.
No.
So, by the way, Emily is wild that she just tells everyone everything.
It's very... Again, it felt like a very strange, because we did see that massive, you know, information sharing stuff. Like, is everyone, you know, like in the mode of, everyone knows everything. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. You know, like that kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's these secret little things like Cerie's extra vote. Like not everyone knows about that.
Yeah.
Like like these little things that people are keeping to themselves can be really powerful, and only telling one person. And it is a funny thing about misinformation. Like you give out a bit of information and you hear if it comes back to you, and then you know like where it came from. Where's the mole? Where's the leak going? So D, I think in smaller tribes, I think D is good. And in New Era, you do play a lot more with smaller tribes. I think she locked in her alliance.
Yeah.
She manipulated inside a smaller group. I think in these larger groups, D's actually quite messy with how she talks to multiple people. And she didn't find her group to lock in with. Like at the start, she was actually trying to work with Jonathan, if you remember back when she was like, oh, Cerie's, you give her an inch and she goes a mile in that original group and everything like that. So that became really messy, and to the point that she realizes it and she goes, oh crap, this is out now. Coach now knows that I was trying to gun with him in the last tribal council, and also that this information got with Rizzo, because you talk about locking in a group. So she was trying to lock in Camilla, Rizzo, Cerie, and then this bit of information rocks Rizzo's socks, and that breaks that little group up, because this could have been very different if they had locked in.
It seemed like a really solid four, that Camilla, Cerie, Rizzo, and D. Like that seemed like a really solid little group, and I feel like D could have ridden that quite far, but maybe it's just symptomatic of like, no, I want to get through this vote, make this little move, get rid of Charlie, and then as we get back with everyone, maybe I've got other people I want to work with. So maybe she didn't really feel as locked. Well, it seems that way, that she wasn't as locked in as
when she lost Camilla last vote, I think then a group of three is way less appealing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
at this point. Yeah. Let's get to the journey, Josh. We go on a journey. I like Chrissy's put all your shots in the dark.
Yeah, that makes it easy. That's good.
That's really good. And so Steph goes there. Now this, you can't, like we talked last week about Aussie going to exile, and that's part of his story. That's part of his survivor story, going to exile, doing all this sort of stuff. Stephanie's shoulder. Like, what are the odds of Steph being the person that popped it out in Heroes vs. Villains, had to pop it back in, and then have to do a hand above head sort of thing? And how good is the montage, the Stephanie history lessons?
I'm loving the flashbacks. The flashbacks are so good because they are genuine. Like, for me, they're actual flashbacks of these things and these moments that that just sit in the back of your brain, and you see it and you're like, oh yeah, that's great. So it's really cool. I think, what do you make of, do you like the idea of you either get an advantage or you lose your vote? So there's a reward and a punishment depending on how you go.
I think we're over losing the vote. I think in the small groups that was too brutal and not having it for a while. I think in the larger group, you can probably get away with not having a vote. It's not as important until it is.
Yeah.
Like, until it is super important. But I don't like the mechanic of losing the vote anymore. I'm sort of over it. I don't mind if you give someone an option to wager your vote, maybe, and you can weigh it up a little bit. They did that a bit at the start. I'm less inclined to take that down. But when it's just like, oh, you have to go on the journey, oh, you've lost your vote unless you win.
Well, I found it interesting. How much do you think you talk a lot about, particularly in individual immunities, when you're actually on the line, you really push hard. If you've got a punishment like losing your vote staring you down, does that push Steph to stay up there for the hour, do you think?
Yeah, I think it does. I think she's seen what happened to Colby and Q and all these people that lost their vote and then got done. Do you think you can hold your hand up for an hour, Josh?
I think it would be I think you need to concentrate really hard the whole time, because I think in those ones you've seen, it depends on the tension, right? But if you lose concentration for a little bit, it seems like it's really easy to go. I think it would be really hard.
Next episode.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. It's the whole episode.
Just see how long we can go.
See how long I can do it for.
I think it is really hard, because there's been times when I've had to do it. Like, maybe, you're working above your head and it's like, wow, this is really exhausting really quickly. So an hour.
You're trying to...
An hour.
Josh changing a light bulb.
Hang on, guys, I'm going to lose my vote.
Gasping. Yeah.
Got to change this.
So the back end of this, Steph, they have this contraption, this Rube Goldberg machine that does all this sort of stuff.
I love the dunk,
dunk, dunk.
Yeah, the bamboo,
I thought that was cool as well. Steph does it really good. Now, I was thinking about the lie. Steph comes up with a great lie.
You like
because
this?
I like it in the sense that I was thinking, well, hang on. If you come back and you say, you're going to have to say, I don't have my vote. And then if you vote and you do have a vote, then people are going to know you're lying.
Yes.
She came up with this really clever little thing to say, I lost, but I still kept my vote because I lasted half an hour.
Yes.
I thought that was really clever.
I think it is. And I was trying to think of I just find it's impossible. It's just an impossible task. I don't know anyone who's ever come back from a thing and everyone's fully believed them, even when they've told the truth.
The truth. It's a catch-22. You can't win.
It's
either
impossible.
Way. Yeah.
So I think maybe a better, well, because some people didn't buy it. Sari obviously saw through it straight away. Do you think there is a lie around the nature of the advantage? You could maybe talk it down a bit. I've got an extra vote rather than steal a vote, which is more powerful.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard because then what are you going to make up a whole thing and people ask to see it and everything like that? And I guess it just opens doors.
That to me strikes as the only one you could maybe get away with. Like, I've got an extra vote, but you actually have a steal a vote.
But all it does, it takes someone to go, oh, can I read the thing? And then you have to go, oh, actually, they only had it on a board at the thing and I had to read it off there. I burnt it. Yeah, exactly. That's when it starts to fall apart. Yeah, when you have to come up with excuses to get through that. So you're probably right. But then she's sticking to that. The only person that really 100%, and this is why Sari's so good.
Exactly,
Sari just
goes, so good.
She goes, I know Steph. She's looking around. She's talking. Stephanie's a fighter. She can hold her hand above her head for an hour. I know that. And then this is why she's so fucking good.
Well, this is good social game, right?
This is where we talk about people with good social games.
Yeah.
This is then her coming to that. She doesn't go to her and say, you were lying. She's just like, mate.
Yeah. And it's got like this cheeky grin, this giggle, this laugh behind it that makes you go, oh yeah, I do. You got me. Yes. Like that kind of thing.
And she folds like a deck of cards. Yeah. Steph just like, And then she even says it was so nice just telling someone and just being there. It wasn't accusatory. It wasn't like, I can't believe you did this.
No.
It was just getting the information.
Yeah.
And that's why Sari's so good.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen unless you know what's going on and you can read people. And she's so good at that.
And I think the really surprising thing for me was her going back and telling Rizzo. And like that is just showing.
Well, the edit of Steph saying, I think I can really trust Sari. And then it cuts to Sari talking to Rizzo, which I loved.
But to me, it's like, okay, Sari and Rizzo are like, they're locked in. They are really locked in. And Aussie has no reason not to be as locked in. So I think that is a rock solid 3 based on what we've seen.
I think that's really good. Get to the challenge. The challenge is the boulder. I like that boulder.
Can I say, I love this 2-stage. You kind of got a bit of a tribal and then you've kind of got individual as well. I think this is a great merging of reward and immunity together. And I love a schoolyard pick.
I love a schoolyard pick. That's in my notes as well. I love a schoolyard pick.
I think because it does twofold, right? It's like, particularly when you're fighting for immunity, right? You know you're going to be doing that. You've got the decisions around who is going to actually win this and who are my allies that I want to win. And I think that's a really interesting dynamic that it's not really explored, but you know that's part of the thinking process, which I really, really like, rather than just drawing randomly.
I think it's so much more interesting. And the fact that you also want to beat the people at the end.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
It's like we want to get that Chinese food, Josh.
Yes.
But then we want to beat. Then you want people that you think you can then beat at the end, but you want to get them through. So it's just a really good dynamic. I loved the only thing I feel like they've done this puzzle a few times now. It seems like the same puzzle. They've just done it, and the big boulder they've done every season of the new era.
I love the boulder.
We love a big boulder, but they made a point of mentioning that the puzzle has 2 sides.
Yeah, that was interesting.
You have to get it right on both sides.
I think that's because it is 3. It's 3-dimensional, but it's like 3. I think it's 2 or 3 blocks deep. Whereas a lot of the other ones are just like single things. So I think it's the idea that when you're laying them down, you've kind of got another angle that you need to be working with. So I think it is more complicated than some of the other ones that seem a bit more straightforward, I think. I think that's what they were getting at.
So in Titans v Rebels, me and Charles had one of them and it had 2 patterns on either side.
Similar looking patterns.
There was very similar. There's one little bit of different color around the middle bit of ours. And there was a tiny bit of torch that was like the wrong color.
Yeah.
And we were realizing like you should be running around to the other side and checking that and then running around back and doing that. But we were so focused on what was in front of us.
Yeah.
And they usually do that so the camera pointing at you can see it as you're building it at the same time. But it does sort of screw with your head. And we got really close to losing that challenge because one of our corners was like around the wrong way and it didn't actually matter, but there was some slight
it didn't look
change.
Wrong, but if you really were paying attention, it's like, no, that color is a different color there.
It's different.
It
sits was really hard.
Yeah.
So I felt hard for them. And then we get to this.
Another quick question on that. We did see a moment of essentially lucky keys, of just picking the right key out at the right time. Do you like a lucky key or not?
It's fine. It's lucky key. schmucky key, I say. Like,
That's what he says.
I've always said that, Josh.
He sure has.
I've
Lucky
always
key,
said that.
schmucky key.
I've always said that. But what was more interesting was, yes, they got the Chinese food, but then they did the single immunity.
Yep.
And the boom operator shout out, I love that.
Yeah. It's very
I
funny.
actually love that. And then they're like, very true, Devons. Or everyone here has a boom.
I really
mic.
thought they were going to cut to
So did
wide
I.
shot. Like, it's 50. We're going to pull the curtain back a bit more, but they did it.
But they do. You have a boom mic. Every cameraman has a boom operator next to them, and they're always behind you doing that,
Brutal.
like all the time.
Maybe that's how they designed it. Maybe it's like a little in joke for the crew.
They're like, now you guys try it. Next week's one will be holding like a camera, like something heavy in front of them.
Yeah,
like
you
this,
have the full
and to
body.
focus
You have
it.
the full body rig thing.
Yeah,
Just gotta put that on.
And then awesomely, Aussie wins.
Oh, just having like Aussie and Joe at the end for these final two is
good,
like,
man.
oh, is this going to be a theme of these are the two guys who are going to go really hard?
I love that Aussie. There's just something so nice about Aussies feeling like, hey, I've still got this. I've won 8 now, and it's good shout out to Boston Rob has 9 in the history of his run. So Aussie's only got 2 more to be the all-time greast immunity winner.
I don't know if you noticed this, but as they got further down the end of the poll, it got smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
Were you surprised to see D's feet not?
Dude, they zoomed in. D's feet. I would have loved a shot of D's feet where they replaced it with a hand. It was just gripping. It was just gripping the thing with D's giant toes. That's what it was definitely there. They were definitely focusing on it. But she didn't win. And it just takes a lot of upper body strength.
This
it's hard.
Was this in I think this is in 47, right?
Yeah, they've done this.
Yeah,
They've done this.
I like
times.
this one. I like it because you've got a little bit of technique as well that you're working with.
Yeah, I was talking with Rach about how do you do your hair if you have a high bun, and that could possibly help in some regard or something like that. Yeah, Tiff might have been good because she's got quite like solid hair at the back.
Yeah.
Any advantage, Josh? Any advantage? So that was good. There's also, this is just a weird side note from me. There's a lot of weird focus pulls. Did you notice that in the episode? There was a lot of people out of focus, slightly off camera. Like it was really off. I've never noticed them do that before.
Maybe it's more exciting. Or are they just
maybe it is. We won't know. And then we get onto the scramble, Josh.
With Coach running the show, Coach coaching everyone. It was really interesting. It almost feels like a classic Survivor moment of when you're going to find the camp. Just give me the map. It's like no, everyone else is stuffing out. Just give me the map. I'll do it. Coach is kind of like, oh, I'm just going to do it myself. I don't want to do this, but I just need to do this to make it happen. And we just saw him like going crazy, dictating the show to everyone.
So there was an interesting conversation. I think it was Jonathan, Chrissy, and Coach were sitting down and talking it through about in terms of how to split the votes. I think Chrissy was doing a good job actually running the numbers and going like, well, there's this many of them, so we need at least 3 on this, and then let's make it 4 so we can do this, and then. But then Coach was like, okay, that's the thing. Okay, now we just need to get people. And they talk about the middle, what do they call them?
I think it was just the middle people.
It's just the middle people.
Something like that.
Yeah, they just called them the middle people. And they didn't, rightly so, you don't want the middle people to be the split in case they do something else or they go the other way or things like that. But one thing that keeps coming up was this idea of people wanting to be the one voting for the person going home.
Yes.
And not wanting to vote for the person that comes back to camp.
Yes.
Now, this happened a lot on my season as well. And it's really funny because there were people that were coming from it from the point of view more that I want to be the person to say something and vote them off.
Yes.
It was more people going, oh, I really want to vote Nathan off. I want to be the one to write him down.
Yeah.
So Nathan, this is for this. They wanted to have their little thing to camera and really vote it. Or it's like, hey, cop this, Jess, you've lied to me, or things like that. There was this feeling of they wanted to be the one. And I was always part of the game sense of, no, but if we need to split, we need to split.
Yeah.
Like we got to split.
It has to be
And people were thinking about it as, no, I need to be the one to do this. And we see this a bit here. But I think a lot of these guys were thinking more about it. Well, I've got an okay relationship with Tiff. And if I'm a vote on her, she's going to be annoyed with me.
I think it's literally the opposite of that they want to be the way that person's going. They're gone. They're out of the game. They can't come back and have retribution on me. But for that to be part of the argument, it's like, I don't think at this level if you're going against that person's alliance, you're going against that person's alliance. Whether you wrote that person's name or not, you're going against those two of them. So I don't think Tiff goes, well, I'm
Exactly.
not annoyed at this person because they voted for D, but I am annoyed at that person because they voted for me.
That's stupid.
It's
That's
the same.
so
So
stupid.
I don't think it's playing out in reality.
But it should be the person that is the split that is incentivized, the other person that's the target that is incentivized to do the split. So, for instance, in my season, in the second tribal council, Jess was throwing my name out there. And everyone was like, oh, let's just pile on Jess. But because I was the one that was potentially going home, then it was on me to go, well, I'm going to put a couple of votes on Nathan, just in case, or Jaden or whatever. And that it saves me. So that's fine. So in this case, coach should be like, well, okay, they're going for me, so I'm going to be one of the people to split. I need someone else to come with me to make sure we go to the split. That's what it should be.
I'm going to lead the split charge. Yeah.
And the other thing that is, in terms of historical, people often look at people's voting records,
really?
and you only look at who voted who off. You don't look at, oh, well, they knew what was happening and they split. It's just like, no. The stat is you didn't vote for D now. You voted for Tiff, so therefore you got it wrong.
Yeah, right. And
And there would be definitely people thinking about that. Like going, oh, I want to be right.
What did you make about this seeming dislike that coach has for Christian? That seemed very surprising to me.
I think there's a feeling that Christian is sort of the linchpin of the quote unquote nerd group, the other conglomerate of Rick Devens, Emily Flippin, and himself. And so I think coach sees them as the threat of the other group that can get numbers behind them. I think that's all it is.
So are we, because we spoke about the middle people, are we happy that we think it's Rick, Christian, and Emily are in the middle?
Yes.
And then coach's side, you've got Coach, Jonathan, Joe, Steph, Chrissy, and Aubrey's kind of in there as well.
I feel like coach is pulling Aubrey in.
Yeah.
Aubrey could also be Rick and Christian, but I think she feels like they're playing her a little bit. So I think Aubrey's more with coach at this point.
And then the other side is that's Sari, Ozzy, Rizzo, I guess D and Tiff, right? So they're the two. Yeah, they're the two big sides, I think.
So and now D's gone. Tiff's floating, but Tiff was talking. Tiff and D were trying to pull in Rizzo, Ozzy, and Sari to get 5 votes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Which is not enough because in this group you needed.
I still think that there's just a strange moment of coach getting so frustrated that this genius plan is going to get blown up because now Christian knows about it. Like it felt really misplaced.
And Riz, the funny thing is like Rizzo's like, you talk about the people in the middle. Rick is one of the people in the middle, and you were saying it to Rick. Yeah. And coach was like, like that was really funny.
It didn't bode well for coaches, like to have a moment like this of like, and it sort of went that way in the end, which is fine. But it didn't seem like he managed this vote particularly well at all, I don't think.
No, and I feel like this pushes Rick and Christian and Emily away from you in that regard as well.
I think so, particularly like having that conversation with Devens about Christian, like to his face, is like, that's his number one ally, dude. Like, but
how do you not pick up on that?
I will say one of my favorite highlights of the episode was it's haiku central over here.
Oh, dude, so many haikus.
So many private haikus. And it's like, guys, you got to hear these haikus. Guys, you got to hear these haikus.
Guys, I am killing it with these haikus right now, guys. Coach is the only person that does a confessional when it's not a confessional.
Right.
He's just by himself in camp talking to himself. It was so
just
funny.
Just looking off camera. It was great. It was
Mate,
so
if
good.
Someone wants to do a haiku about Survivor Debrief, go for your life in the comments.
Debrief haiku. Let's see what you got.
Go for it. Go for it.
We are haiku central here.
We are haiku central. We love a haiku. Coach is just on another plane at the moment. It's just so weird. He's so just interesting. Absolutely out of control. And so then we're happy to get to Tribal Council. Tribal Council, D's playing hard. Did you feel like this was a bit of a foregone conclusion?
It felt like there was genuine frustration at coach. It did feel like that is a real thing, and that may pay dividends later. But once D's sort of popping out the shot in the dark, it's like, oh no, it's pretty. I think she feels pretty done. Like doesn't feel like she's grasping at that point.
Look, good on her for trying to make it live by going to those other guys and saying, "We've got the numbers, coach. Like we've got the numbers, coach." Trying to do that thing where you assume. You make assumptions that everyone has turned. So it's like, okay, get on board.
And it did seem like the kind of thing of you felt that there was momentum around camp, like you felt that, you know. And it seemed like Emily was one of the big pushers for the coach vote, which is interesting.
Yeah, she's not liking coach's vibe at all.
No, she seems very keen to get rid of him.
So it doesn't work out. Aubrey then does use her idol, which I know we've talked about this a bit, but I don't think she needed to.
Yeah,
I think keep it, just annoy them more.
yeah. I think you're better off having it than not. If you're already feeling on the outside, now you've got nothing to help you apart from your relationships.
One thing with Billie Eilish idols is because you can only use it on yourself. It actually isn't as good for that concept of like, oh, coach, you and me can use this idol together, and I'm happy to play it for you. And it actually does neuter it a bit in that regard. So there's less incentive for your allies to be like, oh, great, you've got an idol.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So maybe that.
Yeah, maybe she's like, well, I am a target. I can only use it as myself, and I can't really build it to curry favor with anyone because everyone knows about it. So maybe the Billy Idol specifically in this circumstance, once it's known about, it's a lot less valuable.
Now, Josh, I want to talk about shots in the dark now.
Yes.
Okay. So D uses hers. First of all, I'm surprised they don't come up more often. It's a 1 in 6 shot, and they never come up.
It's pretty good to have like these players being like, no, I know I'm done. Let's literally roll the dice.
Well, this is what I want to talk about. So there's two things going on here. Now, we have gone several seasons where no one has played their shot in the dark at all. And now we've already had 2 people play it.
Yeah.
2 things could be going on. One, these players are just at a higher caliber and they read the room and they know when people are talking about them and they go, something is up here. I feel it. It's happening. Game over. Or everyone's actually pretty sloppy and everyone's letting it out that things are happening. There's a lot of web of connections with, okay, look, I know we're not in the same alliance, but yeah, it's looking at you tonight.
Yeah.
And these little connections are sort of coming out and people are openly talking about it, and it becomes known that Coach and D are the targets. And then D feels that, what do you think it is? Do you think it's these people are really switched on, they know what's happening, or do you think it's these sort of connections?
I think it's reading. I think you've been there before. You know how people acted during a blind side. You know, oh, these people aren't talking to me as much. This feels different. I think returnee would have their way more attuned to that, to know when it's like, no, I know what it's like when you're voting for someone, and that's the treatment I'm receiving. So I think it's totally understanding that. Also the willingness to be like running the numbers as well, to be like, well, my vote kind of doesn't matter to, like, I don't feel it's that knife edge that my vote's going to make a difference. So I may as well roll the dice.
Yeah. And it's funny because we haven't had a returning season with shots in the dark because they only came in the era.
Of course.
So we haven't had those people that go, yeah, I know what's happening. Now I'm going to use it. So we might actually see a few more shots in the dark. When it gets closer in numbers, I think your vote becomes more important.
Agreed.
Because you go, I think I can get this person.
Yeah.
But it is strange that that people have just known they're next.
It's pretty great. What do you make of it?
I think it's reading the room. I think it's the returning players. I think you're right. They're reading the room really well and figuring out, oh yeah, I'm cooked here. My goose is cooked, and this is my one thing.
Yeah.
But if you split on it, it's there's this many people. You can chuck a couple of votes on Tiff, and Tiff goes home.
Yeah.
And it's like
totally. Yeah.
No foul. But yeah, interesting. What about D? What did it come down to? Was it one move, Josh?
I think it's the cutting Jonathan out of the Charlie vote. It just seems like it all goes back to that. Like they got into this tribe swap. She could have gone along with it. Well, I think they're going to get rid of Rizzo. Chose to know, I'm going to make up this new thing, get rid of Charlie. And I think after that, I think Jonathan was a big player in getting her out because he felt so slighted by that. And I think he's just turned his attention to getting rid of these guys.
Yeah, I think Jonathan's actually playing quite well. I think he's playing coach against people, and he basically got out someone that he no longer trusted and didn't want in the game anymore. I think the other thing that really hurt D was obviously being the last winner standing.
Yes.
I think that's still at the back of everyone's mind. I know you talk about it being a shield and everything, but I just don't think they're going to want a winner to get much further in the game.
It feels like an easy vote, just to knock a winner off. It was surprising because I felt she was in a really good spot. It felt like she had some good allies around her, and it just seems like the wheels came off really quickly once it all came back together. I think they just got momentum behind it. And I think as well, symptomatic of this massive merge is we're almost at the point of, and I think we heard Rizzo and Sari talking about this, like, I'm not going to throw my game away for D.
Yeah, like, Tiff said it as well. Yeah,
it's like there's still so many people to work with. So I think it is also symptomatic of that with this big group. Well, if it's not me this week, that's pretty good. Like, I don't have to fight too much. Plenty of options to work with. So I think that's a big factor as well in being comfortable just to go, yep, just get rid of her, and then it's done.
I think it's definitely symptomatic of a large group.
Yeah.
That you can. There's more game to play.
Yeah.
Who's spun and grun, do you think, Josh?
Spinning Grin.
I reckon Rizzo is.
I think it's Rizzo.
Real good spot.
Yeah, I think Rizzo's really locked in.
Yeah, and I think he's reading stuff really well, dissecting information really well.
He's coaching coach.
He's coaching coach. He's slaying dragons at tribal, not at camp.
Not at camp. Did he give Rizzo a name yet? I don't know.
He definitely welcomed him in as one of the four horsemen, but I don't think he gave.
Yeah,
I don't think
There's
so.
something that would be like the young sapling or something. You'll grow into the oak monk, but
for
at
now
this point,
you bend in the wind, but you don't break.
Yes. So I'm happy with that. I think Rizzo's played a very good game.
And I think maybe a touch on Suri as well for picking up on Steph. I think that was pretty good as well. Yeah.
And then who ruffled some feathers?
It was to ruffle feathers, ruffle feathers.
Who?
It seems like Aubrey ruffled a lot of feathers with the idol thing.
Yeah, that pissed people
I
off.
think that really turned especially returnees. Everyone was like,
say Coach didn't ruffle feathers though. Coach stood up in front of everyone and said, "No, none of you will win this game."
That's fair. I think Coach. Yes, I think Coach ruffled the most feathers. I think his directness in trying to garner these votes was.
Yeah, I think Aubrey. Yeah, I think Aubrey annoyed a few bit, but I think Coach genuinely got people offside.
And maybe Aubrey just
said ruffle feathers.
Just a little
bit, just a little rustle. Okay, that's it. So we'll expect haikus coming at us.
Yes, yes. Or just hashtag haiku central.
and our moon listeners as well getting out of the woodwork.
Guys, season 50 is big for Survivor Debrief feed. Here we go.
It's so good. Everyone's going off. But we're very close. I think we only need 10 more subs.
Let's go.
to hit 600.
We're close to 600. Keep sharing the clips. Watch the clips. Tell your friends. We'll keep growing the show.
I think so. That'd be fun if we kept growing the show.
Great.
I would enjoy that. More listeners would be really good.
And also very excited. We got the Australian season 12 finale coming up. You're heading up to watch that tomorrow.
I'm going up to Sydney to watch the finale and the live reunion. So I'll be shouting out to Mark, "Titans forever, Mark."
Very good.
From the crowd. So listen out for that. But yeah, it should be fun. Should be very fun. So looking forward to it, guys. We'll see you soon.
See you next week.
Bye.